Hey all, boardgamerants here. We'll find everything solo, tabletop gaming, and more. Here's a non-spoilerish review of Scythe, Rise of Fenris. Never done anything kind of non-spoilerish before, so it's like, I don't know, I can't show you anything, but we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go. Okay, so where to start? Well, I would say this is all gonna be from a solo perspective. So please keep that in mind. You know, I play games, that's my thing. And this is very important when it comes to this expansion, because this is not, I would say, a beginner level, you know, hey, you know, gosh, you know, I think I really want to get into solo gaming. Let's get Scythe and this expansion and give her a go. I would not start there. And this expansion, if you're gonna play it solo, I strongly recommend, and you probably have, but played Scythe quite often solo with the Automa deck. If you're not familiar with it, deck looks like this guy. Here you got, you know, on the back of them, but here each card has just a set of stuff that you have to complete for your opponent, and you flip it over about halfway through the game. This is not spoiler stuff. This is all from the original game, but you'll use this deck. But yeah, they're focusing. Yeah, there we go. So you want to have a good command of that. You know, one of the biggest complaints of the original was the movement. You know, how do you move the Automa around? It's confusing and stuff, and it can be. But you know, once you get it down, I don't think it really is. And there was an app that was developed that really helps you double check yourself. So, but if you've played the solo variant with the Automa deck many times before, and then you get this expansion, then I think you're going to be in pretty good shape, because you've got this book, this massive tome, if you will, of, you know, it's like 50 some odd pages, and in there is all the information on the expansion, what it contains, and ultimately it's two parts. There's a campaign of 8 games that you can play, and then there's 11 modules, all of which you can incorporate into your future games, or and you could just totally forget and not even do the campaign. I don't recommend that. I think the campaign was so well done. Thematically, it's got a fantastic story to it. The mechanics are all, you know, going to feel very familiar but different, and but it just adds, all these modules add a variability that's just off the charts. It makes this game, I mean, just impossible with all the variations to, you know, get tired of or be like, oh, well, especially now, because games can be really short, surprisingly short. There's different ways. You know, oftentimes it's who puts that 6-star down. Boom, done. You're gonna find there's some changes here through the campaign that really mix things up, and therefore it's going to challenge you, the player of Scythe, who's gotten used to a certain rhythm, and maybe you're like, yeah, I got this thing. Yeah, you're going to have to explore some new ways of play. I played against the Automa, the full campaign, and each time you play, it unlocks a little more of those modular expansions. It introduces them in a way that makes sense, so you can just take a little bit of information at a time. You could just not do the campaign, go straight to the modules and unlock everything. But I think it would be, you know, it would take a while to really know what to do with them. But when you see them in that context of the campaign, it was done so well. It's so worth it. I would so strongly recommend, have the patience and just go through that campaign and enjoy it, especially from a solo standpoint. It's you just follow that story, and it's just I couldn't get enough. I wanted to do this review for about a week now, and I can't still. I kind of scooched all the spoiler stuff. I just keep wanting to play. I went through the campaign. Now I've played, I don't know, 3-4 games of, there's a module that allows you to play cooperatively. So of course you can play that solo. And I've gotten creamed both times I've tried that. Of course you can play 1 to 7 factions designed to play with other people, but you can play multiple factions in this variant, and I might have a better chance. I've just tried it just with one couple times just to feel it out. Fantastic, so much fun, but I've gotten destroyed. And then it also has a variant where you can just play normal, you know, against an Automa deck, and but then you can throw in an NPC, let's say, that floats around and it really makes things interesting for you and the Automa. Fantastic. I mean, just variants abound, but again, going back to, this is not a beginner level solo experience. Each time, each scenario, I mean, well, before you even get to the scenarios, there's an entire page dedicated to this booklet on how to play with the Automa. I mean, and so like so many other games that you might play with solo variant, first you got to learn the game, then you have to learn how to play the game solo, which is its own set of rules, usually not as big, but sometimes with Scythe, vanilla Scythe, or the original, you've got the manual, and then you've got another like manual, smaller, all dedicated to like half the size or a third of the size of the original full game manual, dedicated to teach you how to play against the Automa. So it's no joke. You know, it's a lot of taking in a lot of information, and it can be a little overwhelming if you're not willing to do that or not used to doing that. Each time you go to a scenario, it's got another little box of how to incorporate the Automa. Some of those boxes are half-page boxes, big boxes, and for every single scenario, you have to you get all your stuff and you set it up, and then you gotta look at that and discover what you need to modify to use the Automa. So it's a lot, you know, each scenario, but I found myself, I just couldn't wait. I was reading through. I remember getting through, I was about halfway through, and there was this tremendous setup. You can play with the Wind Gamut and the other expansions in this campaign, but I mean, I don't recommend it. There's so much there anyway, and I tried once about halfway through, and it was already it was one of the more complex setup, tons of information to try and remember so that I felt like I played it right. And I tried to throw in the expansions and immediately regretted it. That was my first experience with the game being extremely, games can be short. So, and that was frustrating. It was like I spent more time setting and learning how to play the scenario, and then I got wasted, and it was just like, oh, but that was my first experience, like, oh, that can happen. Okay. And so, and like over the 8 games, I won the first one. I lost the next 4, and then I won the last 3. And really, to win the campaign, you just have to win the last, the 8th game. And while you're playing this campaign, you have a sheet that you document. Your faction grows in strength, and the money that you basically a lot of times will score to see if you won the game or not. You sort of keep a paper documentation of that, and you use that to upgrade your faction, to purchase things that different perks and ongoing bonuses and other awesome stuff, so that each game you're getting stronger and stronger, and you have more abilities. You just start with more stuff, more faster. I don't think that's really a phrase that's correct, but it just super boosts the game. And so you start games pretty strong, and it's just this, you get this momentum going. And really by the 8th game, I destroyed the Automa. You know, I think, I'm pretty sure I played it right, but you know, I was ready to kick its butt, because you know, I'd lost 4 games in a row, and then I won the last 3. One of them was super close, and just a fantastic experience. This game is the epitome of what you can really experience from a solo standpoint, and a little campaign. Resettable. It's not legacy like. It's completely resettable, and there is reason too why you might want to play through it again. I'll leave it at that. But it was very satisfying going through the first time. You could reset it, or after you're done, then you can just take modules, your favorite ones, and you can just plug them in however you want, and just really tailor make your Scythe experience. And just remarkable. Across the board, this is a no-brainer. You would pick this up if you are into Scythe and you play solo games. This is about as good as it gets. So I'll probably do a spoilerish thing review maybe later on after this game's been out for a bit, because I don't want to be the one to screw stuff up for you. Hopefully I'll have done that elsewhere, and then I might throw out a spoilery type of review. But again, from a solo perspective, this is a must-have, and that's it for me. I'm Board Game Rants. Thank you for watching. See you later. I'm out.